So today we're going to do a great favorite of mine. I used to make this for an old boss who loved it. It's a spicy salmon salad. So what you want to do first with your impeccably clean hands is kind of gently run your fingers along the fish itself and see if there's any pin bones sticking out. If there happen to be, use a pair of tweezers. Go through, gently grab one in the direction that the bone is going or growing. Just kind of yank it out. This one doesn't seem to have any, which is good. So what I'm going to do is do just a mixture of sugar and salt. That's it for this quick cure. It's only going to be about 20 minutes or so. What this does is it helps the meat kind of seize up. I know it's kind of a weird way to describe it, but it firms the texture of the fish up in a bowl or a plate or whatever, something large enough to hold your salmon fillet. I'm pouring in a copious amount of salt, same amount of sugar. Take your fillet and just kind of coat it all over with this rub. So anyway, once you have all this covered the way you want, set it aside, and in the meantime we'll work on the dressing for our salad. Iced coffee. The coffee is from the fine folks at Building out in District 2. I'm not paid to say this, but they're really good. This is an Ethiopian roast. I just brewed up a pot yesterday and stuck it in the fridge. Keeps me going. Anyway, back to our dressing. So the basis of this dressing is similar to the dressing I made yesterday for the pork meatballs. There's garlic, there's chili, there's some sugar, there's some lime juice and fish sauce. I'm also going to add coriander root. Save the leaves for the salad itself, but chop up the stem very finely. I'm also going to add lemongrass. In the US, we're very spoiled. The last time I went to the grocery store back in Georgia before I moved here, I saw they have tubes of lemongrass mush, which is great because lemongrass itself is a pain in the ass to deal with. It's delicious, it's lovely, it has a wonderful aroma, but it's a pain in the ass. So what you want to do is, if you use your microplane grater and just kind of grate it, with a very heavy hand and push down hard, because it is kind of a tough root. And it'll give you a nice fine powder of lemongrass. If you try to cut it with a knife, you can do so, but keep in mind, I have a chef friend back in Georgia in the US who made a comment about how lemongrass shavings look like fingernails. And I could not get that visual out of my head, and now you can't either. Ha! So thanks, Boyd, for that. Fish sauce, just a touch, and some chili. Mix that up, taste it to your liking. Hot, sour, salt, sweet. If you like it a little more spicy, add a little more chili. If you like it a little more tart, add a little more lime juice. If you want that funky je ne sais quoi, add a little more fish sauce. Now, other components of this salad. Quinoa. A third of a cup of quinoa. What you do when you cook it. This is black quinoa, by the way. I don't particularly like the texture of white quinoa. I think it gets too mushy. Black quinoa tends to have a texture still, like an al dente thing. I'd say if you're doing a half a cup of quinoa uncooked to 1 cup of water in a saucepan, simmer with a lid on for about 20 minutes until the little flakes pop open. And while it's still a little warm off the stove, while it's resting, add a little bit of that dressing. So here's what mine looks like that I just made. Today I have green chilies, so I used those. Also, if you want to throw in a vegetable, you can. For this, I happened to find asparagus at the market this morning, so you can either roast it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper in your oven. I didn't feel like running the oven today because it's rocket hot outside, so I just hard-boiled it for like a minute and pan-fried it just to get a little color. What you want to do is just slice that up into bite-sized chunks. Mint. For this, I happen to get regular mint, not Vietnamese mint, so I'm just going to use those. Pick the leaves off and leave them whole in the salad because you want it as an actual ingredient in the salad and not a garnish. Slivers of shallot, just kind of half moons, like so. Just slice them up. Doesn't have to be even. Add them to your mint and your coriander leaves. Make it rain in there. La 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 la. Here's the coriander, mint, and shallots. Here you want to go ahead and add your asparagus to the cooked quinoa. Add a little bit A little bit of dressing into that. Now, on a medium hot pan, drizzle olive oil. I've rinsed the salmon off with water, patted it dry with some kitchen towel. Skin side down first, get it all nice and crispy. But you see there's some nice crispy bits here from the skin. I'm looking forward to that. So take some of your coriander and mint and shallot mixture, add a little bit of the dressing to it, put a little bit of that on top, and then add some of your crispy, lightly cured salmon to the top. At this point you can take a little drizzle more of that dressing.